Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back from the OPTC video, and in today's video we're diving into some more Pirate Rumble with the new worldwide exclusive anniversary ace with the new and improved shooter team. And in today's video I have two different shooter team comps for some PvP action for you guys. So I want you guys to go down to the comment section after you guys finish this video and let me know which of the two teams you guys like the most. Do you like this first team that you see on screen right now with the bit of a Psy sort of build, or do you like the next sort of build where we actually use like some quick units like Kizaru and Ben Beckman? But with the release of this new ace, shooters got an absolute monstrous buff. Now, shooters were already really good defensively, but offensively they kind of lacked a lot of damage, and with ace you can actually get that because Ace's special will not only give you an attack up buff for level 7, I'm pretty sure it is, level 5 for your shooter class teammates, but he also lowers enemies' defense by 7 within a medium range. He then targets enemies within that large horizontal range for a 3 times attack damage. Now, this damage can be absolutely monstrous. Unfortunately, though, it definitely can whip. It's basically like Rob Lucci for the Dex team, just a little bit stronger. So the damage output that Ace can actually do is incredibly powerful, especially if he hits those enemies that do get that defensive down. And as long as the enemy doesn't have stuff like guard, this is an absolutely busted ability. Like, reducing defense and then doing a whole bunch of damage after giving yourself an attack buff as well is really strong. However, as I mentioned, if the enemy does have guard, it does get drastically nerfed, and your damage output is not nearly as much as you'd like it to be, but it is still a lot of damage. His Rumble ability gives shooter class teammates attack up level 6, defense up level 6, and then when he takes damage, up to 5 times to give himself 1 more level of attack. So he can give himself up to 11 attack if you are taking damage. So this man can output a lot of damage with that special. So he's kind of the offensive glue that the shooters need for a bit of a shooter offensive build. However, I did find, even with both of these teams, that shooters still lack a lot of offensive power. And if you do come up against something like Kid or Dofi or Zoro or Whitebeard versus Roger, anything that can kind of just ignore defense and absolutely decimate you, shooters can struggle. But with some RNG, they actually can put up a very good fight. And you guys will see that towards the back end of the video when we start doing some of the challenge runs. But shooters can definitely hold their own now, not only as a defensive team, but an offensive team. Now, as I mentioned, there are two different builds in today's video, and this first build is actually the side build. Shout out to my boy Trill for sending me through this particular team. He sort of showed me in a master run how this sort of team operates. Well, he just sort of sent me the build, if I'm completely honest, with a screenshot of like victory. But this particular team works exceptionally well because whilst the front line is all shooter-centric, your bench unit is actually Rebecca Toy Soldier. Now, Rebecca Toy Soldier is a fantastic side booster. So if you do end up losing a character, namely something like Usopp and Yasop, you can actually have Rebecca Toy Soldier in and boost your entire team, whilst still getting boosted because Rebecca Toy Soldier is a shooter unit themselves. They're a great nuking option as well. They can do a lot of damage, but the main buffs that they give is stuff like defense and attack to the Psy class. The other units for this particular team are Usopp and Yasop. Their Rumble ability gives HP, attack, and speed up level 6, which is absolutely massive. And then their special gives halved stats whilst also doing 2,500 fixed damage. And they can special bind driven enemies as well. So very powerful if you are coming up against a driven-centric team. And because of that, we actually take on the driven challenge. So they work exceptionally well. Next, we've got Chopper. Chopper's special is basically just a giant heal mechanic. And a utility removing, Ruse Paralysis, Special Bind, all those nasty gimmicks. But Chopper's ability is crazy. He gives level 7 HP, level 7 defense, and level 4 attack to shooters, which is absolutely monstrous. Next, we've got 6+ Kuzan at level limit break 5. You guys know how amazing Kuzan is. He boosts quick and Psy, attack up level 7, speed up level 7, and defense up level 5, whilst also doing 4,000 fixed damage with his special, and nerfing strength and Int's defense, as well as their CT speed, which is really fun. And then finally, we have Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo. No, we don't. Not on this time. We have Kizaru. Now, Kizaru is just an absolute speed demon. He can give attack up, and he pops his special off like every 15 seconds. He's very good at like getting Ace to hit very hard, but Ace is not the only damage dealer on this particular team, as Kizaru can actually rack up some damage too. Fixed damage of Kuzan is great, and obviously Usopp and Yasop, when they are doing their normal attacks alongside Chopper, can do some damage too. So for the next build, we basically took off Kizaru to replace Kizaru with the PvP Kizaru. Another very good shooter PvP rare recruit is the quick Kizaru. He can do a lot of work off the bench, but as for other rare recruits, shooters don't really have much going for them. They do have a Usopp unit from the Film Red Celebration. However, Sop just do it way better, and 99% of the time if you're building a shooter team, Sop's going to find their way on the team because they have the ability to halve stats, and halve stats is just one of the most broken abilities in all of PvP. So having a unit that can do that just immediately makes the team so much better. I did try some 8-man stuff with like the Film Red Usopp, but it just fell short just a little bit. But because we have to bring PvP Kizaru on the team, it means we have to take off our Kizaru unit. So I thought, hey, let's bring Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo, the other Film Red shooter character, onto the team, as they are very, very good in Rumble too. You can do some fun stuff with like Quick as well. You could add like Izo Kiku. That's another option for you. However, with this build, I really wanted to keep it very shooter-centric, as well as sticking to the Sai and Quick for Kuzan. So it works out fairly nicely. But with the additions of Kizaru on the bench, you do get a lot more damage. When Kizaru comes in, his special does... his ability does attack up level 6 and speed up level 6. And if you have 6 or more teammates, self-attack up level 5. Now, ideally, you probably want to just chuck on like a few extra of those like level 1 units. I totally forgot to make this Kizaru just a little bit better because you do want to have those 6 units. However, as you guys will see here, even without it, he can actually do quite a lot of damage. And if he does come in, he has the ability to target 3 high attack shooter class teammates for more attack up. And he does 1.1 times his attack 3 times against 3 enemies, which is very, very good damage. So as a potential nuker for this team, Kizaru just works exceptionally well. However, like I mentioned, it probably would have been in Kizaru's best interest if I had some of those cheeky little units like Support Brûlé or Support Oven on the team, just so he gets access to that extra part of his passive to give himself more attack up. Obviously, the more attack he has, the more damage that 1.1 is doing, and it means you can just get some kills nice and easy. The next unit that we have on the team was Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo. Now, Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo have an amazing passive for shooters. They give defense up level 5 and attack up level 8. So they're giving a lot of attack, namely to Ace, because Ace is the one that does most of the damage. And remember, if the enemy doesn't have a lot of defense, shooters can actually output quite a bit of damage. It's where they struggle is against stuff like Guard, because they don't really have too many HP cutting options. But with the fixed damage of Kuzan and the fixed damage of Sop, like, you can hypothetically get a result. It's just not a result that is going to be very secure and it's going to work most of the time. So ideally, having that attack up and lowering the defense with Ace makes them very, very powerful. Also, with Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo, they target 1 enemy for their attack of 0.7, damaging up to 6 times, and then targets shooter class teammates for speed up level 6 and crit percent up level 6 as well. So you get a lot more speed, you get a lot more damage with Ben Beckman and Lucky Roo, and their special can actually do quite a bit of damage as well. Unfortunately, for this particular fight, they actually died. Like it is what it is. You can't please everyone. But having Kizaru come in just meant that we had that absolute monstrous nuking option. And just be mindful, like, that Kizaru shot should have done more damage because I would still have 2 units on the bench, which being just fodder units anyway, meaning Kizaru would have an extra 5 attack. Having a 38 attack stat means that he's just going to be hitting so much harder than what you guys saw there. So both teams work really, really well. Like I said, let me know in the comment section below which team you think does it better. And while you're down there, don't forget to build the like button. Before we wrap up the video, we're going to dive into some challenge runs. So let's check out how shooters perform in some of the AI fights. Alright, so let's have a little bit of fun now with the AI against the challenge Orochi driven fight. Now, in my opinion, this is the second hardest challenge fight in the game, behind the Dex challenge fight. Now, unfortunately, shooters, with the amount of legends they have and the low damage outputs, even with Ace, like, it's just not doable with Pell running around. If you're running stuff like Quick, you're going to get absolutely clobbered, like slobber knocked, and if Ben Beckman, Lucky Roo, and Kizaru rock up, they're going to get absolutely slaughtered. So I thought, hey, with Sop being able to target driven type enemies, let's take on the driven fight. Now, funny enough, I dived into this with, like, the first time, and I won it first try, and I was like, sick, no worries, I'll just sit down and record. And then the next, like, 7 or 8 times, I just kept losing. Like, it just wasn't possible. And the reason that it wasn't possible, well, I ended up doing it, sorry. The reason I was losing so much was because when Dofi goes off right there, he actually ignores defense. That second shot will completely ignore defense. And if he doesn't hit Sop, you just die. Like, every other unit on this team would get 1 shot, except for Sop. wildly enough. So to get this run done, we actually needed Sop to take the brunt of that shot. So we just had to keep reloading until that actually happened. And once it did, like, the fight was actually like a piece of cake. But obviously be mindful, this is a challenge AI fight. You're never going to see this in actual PvP, because look at that bench. It's got Kid, V3 Blackbeard, and Page 1 ulti, on top of having Top Musica, Orochi, Shiki, Dofi, and PvP Conjurer. Like there's a full legend built team with one PvP rare recruit. Like, again, it's just not possible to see this. But I thought, like I said, hey, it's a bit of fun, and it just shows what the shooters can potentially do against some of these big bopping teams. Now, Driven is very, very powerful. They have a lot of very, very good options. Obviously, like, we're not seeing Moria and stuff like that, and it's not the stereotypical int-driven build, but this particular PvP challenge, in my opinion, was still very challenging for some teams. Not all teams, but for some teams, and obviously with shooters being able to get it done was fairly impressive to me, to be honest, because shooters kind of just are like a team that you would say, oh, shooters are good, and most people go, nah, shooters ain't good. Like, even in regular play, people would just immediately jump on the bandwagon saying that shooters aren't good. And whilst they are a lot of fun to run in PvP, I would 100% agree. They're not exactly where they need to be. They're very defense orientated. They are great bait teams. And with Ace and his GP, they may see some resurgence there, because in GP, if you get some defensive wins and you have more units than the opposition, you'll actually get the win. So Ace can definitely be used as a GP leader, because this shooter team can come into the forefront of it. And if I was building a shooter team for GP, this is probably the one that I would go for, mainly because I would need Rebecca Toy Soldier for another side team, but that's to be desired, and we'll see that once GP actually comes out. Alright, so moving on to the Master Decks, now we are using Trill's team, and we moved over to the Psy-centric team. This particular fight is one that you will more commonly see within the PvP meta matchup. Now, obviously, there's other options for this particular team. Like, some people don't run Kizaru, some people don't run Queen, most people don't run Moria. But this is more of a Dex-centric team that you're probably going to see floating around. Pell, Dalton, Luffy, they're your core matches. You've got stuff like Lucci, Queen, Kizaru. Like, there's just so many very, very good options for Dex. There's also stuff like Kid and Yamato. So I wanted to take on the Master difficulty, because this is, like I said, Dex is obviously very challenging. Most people regard it as the best PvP team in the game. If you disagree, let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what team you guys think is the best PvP team. Do you think it's Psy? Do you think it's Slashes? Do you think it's Dex? Like, what team? Like, Int Driven or the Driven Fuji team? Like, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. But the Master Dex challenge is actually a pretty good place to showcase this. The final thing I want to talk about Ace before we go, and I've got 70 seconds because this fight literally goes down to the final second, is his GP. Ace's GP is very interesting, and I'm super keen to try him out in the next GP season that literally starts, like, in less than 12 hours. Or I think it's probably, like, just around 12 hours of this video going live. So I'm really interested to see how he goes, because he has a very interesting leader skill. He boosts Psy teammates speed, HP up level 3, CT up level 2, and then boosts shooter and free spirit class HP attack up level 6, and speed up level 3. Now, if you guys have seen majority of the Psy teams running around, they are built around free spirit. Free spirit Psy, like Odin, Yamato, Law, Roger, all very, very powerful. And then obviously with shooters too, you have Kuzan. So Kuzan is an absolutely fantastic unit. Easily can make you their way onto the Psy team. And you've also got Kizaru. This Kizaru that you're seeing on this particular team is another very, very good option as well. So you have an abundance of characters that Ace can use under that GP leader skill to make some very, very powerful teams. You can easily make a Psy free spirit centric team. You can make the shooter team, and then you can just build out like a Dex free spirity sort of build, or you could do something like strength free spirit if you really want to. I wouldn't recommend that. I'd probably go Dex free spirit with like Luffy and whatnot, but that is definitely an option for you guys as well, and some stuff that we'll definitely be trying out within the PvP meta as well when GP comes around. Ace's burst, after receiving 33 times of damage. After receiving damage 33 times, you can pop this twice. He targets team for crit up level 10, and then targets all enemies for leader-based attack of times 4. So this damage is really, really big, and ideally, what you'd want to do is you'd want to pop this after, like, reducing the enemy's defense, or having, like, someone that can halve stats. If you have Yamato come in and just halve stats, or Sop gets a half stat buff, then you just pop this, you're going to be doing a lot of damage to those units that do cop that half stats, especially if you do it after the half stats and after Ace reducing the defense as well. So all you have to do is receive damage 33 times. It is a lot, and most of the time you'll probably see it on the second to the third fight. So bringing something like a Dex Free Spirit team to tank this will be the way to go, in my opinion. But like I said, I'm really keen to try this once the GP period comes around within the next 12 hours. So make sure to hit the bell notification so you guys don't miss out on the stream, so you can join the fun when that does drop. If you haven't done so already, make sure to belt the like on this video if you did enjoy it. Hit that big red subscribe button if you guys haven't done so already. Most importantly though, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Later!